Welcome to free online classes of physics with Lambosa. So, dear students, in the last lecture, we discussed the basic properties of electric charges. And in all, there are four basic properties. First property explains additive nature of electric charge. And second property was regarding the quantization of electric charges, that is discrete nature of electric charges. And in third property we explain conservation of electric charges. In any given physical process, electric charge may transfer from one body to another body, but the total charge of an isolated system always remains constant. And the fourth basic property was the forces between electric charges. Forces between electric charges. And that forces are attractive or repulsive. If the charges, point charges, which are at rest, are like charges, then there will be force of repulsion between them. And if the point charges which are at rest are unlike charges, then there will be the force of attraction between them. So the force of attraction or repulsion between the two electric charges is given by Coulomb's law. Sir Augustine de Coulomb gives us the magnitude of force between the two electric charges, which is called as a Coulomb's law in electrostatics. So before explaining Coulomb's law, we will try to understand point charge. Which charge is called as a point charge? So point charge is a charge whose dimensions are negligibly small as compared to its distance from another body. Means comparing the dimensions of that charge with the distance from another body. Then, if the dimensions of that charge is negligibly small compared to distance of that charge from another body, then that charge is called as a point charge. See here, a point charge is a charge whose dimensions are negligibly small compared to its distance from another body. So compared to distance of that charge from another body, if the dimensions of that charge is negligibly small, then that charge is called as a point charge. So such point charge we are considering to explain the Coulomb's law. And this Coulomb's law is one of the fundamental law which is explaining interaction between such point charges which are at rest. So Coulomb's law that we want to explain here is a fundamental law, one of the basic law, which explains the interaction between the point charges which are at rest. So first of all, here we will explain magnitude of the force between the electric charges. That means scalar form of Coulomb's law. Coulomb's law gives the force of attraction or repulsion between the two point electric charges. So scalar form of Coulomb's law, this form gives only magnitude of the interacting forces between the two point charges at rest. So the statement of that Coulomb's law is like this. See here, electrostatic force of attraction or repulsion between two point electric charges at rest is directly proportional to the product of the magnitude of the two charges and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. So this electrostatic force of attraction, that means interaction between two point charges at rest. That interaction may be attractive or repulsive. So the magnitude of that force of attraction between two point electric charges at rest is directly proportional to the product of magnitude of two charges and inversely proportional to the square of distance between them. So this was a statement of Coulomb's law, which is explaining interaction between point charges at rest. And this force of attraction or force of repulsion between the two point charges acts along line joining that point charges. See here, this force of attraction or repulsion acts along the line joining the two charges. That's why this force is also called as a central force. What is the reason? Because the interaction between the two point charges, that means force of attraction or repulsion, acts along the line joining the two charges. This is the reason the Coulomb's law is called as a central force. We will express this Coulomb's law in mathematical form. See here. To explain this, we will consider two point charges Q1 and Q2 at rest. See here, 2 point charges we have considered Q1 and Q2 at rest, placed in a medium. Which medium? Presently we don't know. In a medium, two charges are placed. Point charges are placed. Both the charges are at stationary, or you can say rest. So such 2 point charges describing diagram will be like this. See here. In the first diagram, Q1 and Q2, these are the 2 point electric charges at rest, separated by distance r. R is the separation between the 2 point electric charges. And this pink color explains that both the charges are like charges. And we know that between like charges, there is a force of repulsion. You can see here. This force is acting on charge Q1 but exerted by charge Q2, F1 2 bar. And this force is acting on charge Q2 but exerted by charge Q1, F2 1 bar. Both the forces are repulsive forces. So these Q1, Q2 here like charges, and there is a force of repulsion between them. Here Q1 and Q2 in the second diagram, again the same color is there. What is explaining? These are also two like charges. If these pink color charges are positive charges, then these blue color charges are the negative charges. Both the charges are negative charges, like charges. So whenever there are like charges, there is a force of repulsion between them, separated by distance r. And here two different color charges. That means Q1 will be negative and Q2 will be positive. Unlike charges are there. And unlike charges exerts force of attraction on each other. See here. This is the force acting on charge Q1 due to charge Q2. And this is the force of attraction on charge Q2 due to charge Q1. Both the charges are separated by distance r. So such 2 point electric charges Q1 and Q2 we have considered, and three possible cases in them. Both positive charges, both negative charges, one negative charge, one positive charge. When there are like charges, force of repulsion, and when there are unlike charges, force of attraction. So here R, distance between 2 point electric charges, and magnitude of force between that charges. See here, magnitude of force between that point charges is F. Then According to Coulomb's law, the statement of Coulomb's law, what says? This magnitude of force is directly proportional to product of magnitude of two charges and inversely proportional to square of distance between them. So according to Coulomb's law statement, mathematically Coulomb's law can be written like this. This is the magnitude of force between the 2 point charges, which is directly proportional to product of magnitude of two charges and inversely proportional to square of distance between them. Now, this proportionality symbol can be replaced by constant. See here. Therefore, F equal to K into Q1 Q2 upon R square. This is our equation 1, which is mathematical form of Coulomb's law. And in this equation 1, K is the proportionality constant here. Constant of proportionality, where K proportionality constant. And the value of K depends upon the two factors. First one, the medium surrounding that charges. हे चार्जेस कोणत्या मीडियम मध्ये तुम्ही ठेवला आहे, that medium decides the value of K. Okay, so first dependence of K is the medium in which the charges are placed. That medium decides the value of K. And second one, the system of units. Which system of units is used? See here, system of units used. Whether we are using SI system or CGS system, that decides the value of K. So equation 1 gives us mathematical form of Coulomb's law, scalar form of Coulomb's law. Now, if the surrounding medium, if we consider the surrounding medium, either air, free space, vacuum or any other medium, the value of K will change. And accordingly, Coulomb's law will take the another form. So let us try to find the value of K for different media. See here. If charges are kept in free space or vacuum, or air, and system of unit used is SI. म्हणजे Q1 Q2 हे चार्जेस आपण फ्री स्पेस, व्हॅक्यूम किंवा एअर मध्ये ठेवलेले आहेत आणि सिस्टीम ऑफ युनिट जे यूज करतो इथं, ती जर SI सिस्टीम यूज करत असेल तर द व्हॅल्यू ऑफ K, विच इज proportionality constant, the value of K is equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon 0, and it is equal to 9 into 10 raised to 9 Newton meter square per Coulomb square. So you can take the value of K equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon 0, and it's numerically equal to 9 into 10 raised to 9. When this value should be taken? If the charges are kept in free space, vacuum or air, and SI system of units are used, then K equal to this. And in this value of K, this epsilon 0 is called permittivity of free space, vacuum or air, and its value is epsilon 0, its value is 8.85 into 10 raised to minus 12 Coulomb square per Newton meter square, and it is called as permittivity constant of free space, vacuum or air. म्हणजे surrounding medium, the medium surrounding the charges Q1 and Q2 is free space, vacuum or air, then that proportionality constant K takes the value 1 upon 4 pi epsilon 0. ज्या epsilon 0 ची व्हॅल्यू राहते 8.85 into 10 raised to minus 12 Coulomb square per Newton meter square, and that epsilon 0 is called permittivity constant of that medium, which is free space, vacuum or air. Now By taking the value of K equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon 0 or equal to 9 into 10 raised to minus 9, the Coulomb's law, which is given in equation 1, mathematical form of Coulomb's law, takes the form. Thus, Coulomb's law takes the form when surrounding medium is free space, vacuum or air, and system of unit used is SI. Coulomb's law takes the form. That means equation 1 becomes, see here. Why that F in air? We have written here suffix air. This shows that the medium surrounding the charges is free space, vacuum or air. And the value of K we have replaced here 1 upon 4 pi epsilon 0. Remaining this is same. And instead of 1 upon 4 pi epsilon 0, we can write numerical value of that. 9 into 10 raised to 9. Q1 Q2 upon R square. Equation 2 gives us Coulomb's law when charges are kept in free space, air or vacuum, and the SI system of unit is used. Now, question arises is that if the medium surrounding that charges is other than free space, vacuum or air, then what will be the form of Coulomb's law? That we can explain here. If the charges are kept in dielectric medium and SI system is used, means the medium surrounding that charges Q1 and Q2 भोवतीचं जे medium आहे ते फ्री स्पेस, व्हॅक्यूम और एअर यांच्या व्यतिरिक्त असेल तर, if the medium is different from free space, vacuum or air, and then SI system जर आपण यूज केली असाल तर K ची व्हॅल्यू, प्रोपोर्शनॅलिटी कॉन्स्टंट ची व्हॅल्यू आपण किती घेणार? देन K equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon here instead of epsilon 0, and that epsilon is called, where epsilon is absolute permittivity of other medium. Other medium means other than free space, vacuum or air. या मीडियम व्यतिरिक्त जे मीडियम आपण घेणार त्याची परमिटिव्हिटी, absolute permittivity of other medium. Now we got the value of K when the surrounding medium is other than free space, vacuum or air. Then Coulomb's law will takes the form. See here. Thus Coulomb's law takes the form when the charges are kept in any other medium other than free space, vacuum or air. Equation 1 will become, will take form like this. See here, force between that two charges when surrounding medium is other than free space, air or vacuum. If the surrounding medium is free space, air or vacuum यांच्या व्यतिरिक्त जर मीडियम असेल तर त्या दोन चार्जेस मधला जो फोर्स आहे, कुलम्स फोर्स आहे, which is written as force in medium is equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon Q1 Q2 upon R square. Equation 3. So equation 3 is the Coulomb's law when the medium surrounding that charges is other than free space, vacuum or air. And equation 2 is the Coulomb's law, form of Coulomb's law, if the medium surrounding that charges is free space, vacuum or air. So in this way we can mathematically express Coulomb's law, and that Coulomb's law is the fundamental law explaining interaction between the point charges which are at rest. Now, as we understand the meaning of Coulomb's law, let us explain one concept which is dielectric constant or relative permittivity. जे मीडियम चार्जेसच्या भोवती असतं, मग ते फ्री स्पेस, व्हॅक्यूम, एअर असू शकतं किंवा यांच्या व्यतिरिक्त ते मीडियम असू शकतं, त्या मीडियमचा डायइलेक्ट्रिक कॉन्स्टंट किंवा रिलेटिव्ह परमिटिव्हिटी आपल्याला इथं समजावून घ्यायचे आहे. याच्या आपण दोन डेफिनेशन्स इथं समजावून घेणार आहोत. म्हणजे एखाद्या मीडियमची रिलेटिव्ह परमिटिव्हिटी किंवा डायइलेक्ट्रिक कॉन्स्टंट म्हणजे नेमका काय असतो त्याचा यूज आपण यानंतरच्या आर्टिकल मध्ये करत आहोत. सो definition of that dielectric constant or relative permittivity. See here. First definition, relative permittivity or dielectric constant is the ratio of absolute permittivity of a medium to the permittivity of free space, vacuum or air. म्हणजे आपल्याला मीडियमचे दोन ग्रुप्स विचारात घ्यावे लागतील. एका ग्रुपमध्ये जी मीडियम्स येतील त्यामध्ये फ्री स्पेस, व्हॅक्यूम और एअर आणि त्याच्या परमिटिव्हिटीसाठी आपण एप्सिलॉन 0 यूज करतोय. आणि दुसरा जो मीडियमचा ग्रुप आहे तो अदर दॅन फ्री स्पेस, व्हॅक्यूम और एअर आणि त्यांच्या परमिटिव्हिटीला आपण अब्सोल्यूट परमिटिव्हिटी म्हणतोय, एप्सिलॉन न डिनोट करतोय. मग या दोन परमिटिव्हिटीच्या रेशोला आपण रिलेटिव्ह परमिटिव्हिटी किंवा डायइलेक्ट्रिक कॉन्स्टंट असं म्हणतो. आणि त्या डायइलेक्ट्रिक कॉन्स्टंटला किंवा रिलेटिव्ह परमिटिव्हिटीला डिनोट किंवा रिप्रेझेंट करण्यासाठी आपण के हे लेटर यूज करूया किंवा एप्सिलॉन आर. के डायइलेक्ट्रिक कॉन्स्टंट, एप्सिलॉन आर relative permittivity, and both are nothing but the ratio of absolute permittivity of a medium. म्हणजे इथं absolute permittivity ज्या mediumची असणार आहे that medium will be other than free space, vacuum or air and to the permittivity of free space. मग free space, vacuum, air ची permittivity आपण epsilon 0 घेता आणि any other medium than that free space, vacuum or air त्यांच्या परमिटिव्हिटीला तुम्ही absolute permittivity घेता एप्सिलॉन. तर या दोन परमिटिव्हिटीचा रेशो gives us dielectric constant or relative permittivity. This is the first definition of that. Now the second definition of that dielectric constant, see here. Relative permittivity or dielectric constant is the ratio of the force between two point charges placed at certain distance in air to the force between same point charges when placed at same distance in the given medium. I will explain the meaning of this definition. We are taking 2 point charges Q1 and Q2. And first time that charges are kept in air, free space, vacuum at a certain distance. And we find the force between them, F air. Then that same charges will be kept in given medium other than free space, vacuum or air. At the same distance, त्या चार्जेस मधलं डिस्टन्स देखील सेम असेल. त्यावेळी त्या मीडियम मधील त्या दोन चार्जेसचा आपण फोर्स फाइंड आउट करूया. Force in medium and force in air we will calculate, and the ratio of that two forces is once again called as relative permittivity or dielectric constant. Is the ratio of force between 2 point charges placed at certain distance in air to the force between the same point charges when placed at same distance but in the given medium. So by using both the definitions, we can write the formula for dielectric constant or relative permittivity. See here, it is given by dielectric constant or relative permittivity is given by K or epsilon R. See here, K or epsilon R. K is dielectric constant, epsilon R is relative permittivity. According to first definition, it is the ratio of absolute permittivity of medium to permittivity of free space, vacuum or air. And according to second definition, it is the ratio of two forces. Force between 2-point charges kept in air to the force between the same 2-point charges kept in the given medium. So in this way, we can understand the meaning of dielectric constant or relative permittivity. And by using this formula, we can find the value of epsilon. See here. Also, epsilon equal to epsilon 0k. Just cross multiplication of the two quantities. Or epsilon equal to epsilon 0 into epsilon r. Now, we will study the properties of this dielectric constant or relative permittivity. We know that this dielectric constant is the ratio of similar quantities. As it is a ratio of similar quantities, this dielectric constant or relative permittivity has no unit and hence no dimensions. Is the first property of dielectric constant. As it is a ratio of two similar quantities, permittivity upon permittivity. It has no unit and hence no dimensions. आता ह्या रिलेटिव्ह परमिटिव्हिटीला किंवा डायलेक्ट्रिक कॉन्स्टंटला आणखी एका नावाने आपण ओळखू शकता. सी हियर इट इज ऑल्सो कॉल्ड स्पेसिफिक इंडक्टिव्ह कॅपॅसिटी. आफ्टर दॅट द व्हॅल्यूज ऑफ डायलेक्ट्रिक कॉन्स्टंट फॉर डिफरंट मीडिया. जर चार्जेसच्या भोवतीचं मीडियम सराउंडिंग द चार्जेस फ्री स्पेस, व्हॅक्यूम किंवा एअर असेल, त्यावेळी त्या एअरचा किंवा फ्री स्पेसचा डायलेक्ट्रिक कॉन्स्टंट म्हणजे रिलेटिव्ह परमिटिव्हिटी आपण 1 घेणार आहोत. सी हियर फॉर एअर ऑर व्हॅक्यूम किंवा फ्री स्पेस म्हणूया, डायलेक्ट्रिक कॉन्स्टंट 1. आणि जर मीडियम सराउंडिंग द चार्जेस मेटल असेल, फॉर मेटल्स डायलेक्ट्रिक कॉन्स्टंट इन्फिनिटी. अँड फॉर एनी अदर मीडियम म्हणजे एअर ऑर व्हॅक्यूम, फ्री स्पेस आणि मेटल्स याच्या व्यतिरिक्त जी मीडियम्स आहेत त्या मीडियासाठी डायलेक्ट्रिक कॉन्स्टंट हा ऑलवेज ग्रेटर दॅन 1. फॉर अदर मीडिया डायलेक्ट्रिक कॉन्स्टंट इज ग्रेटर दॅन 1. So in this way, here we understand the concept dielectric constant or relative permittivity and the different values of that dielectric constant. So now let us shift towards the next concept, which is explaining we want to prove here dielectric constant or relative permittivity is the ratio of two forces. Force between the two charges kept in vacuum divided by force between the two charges kept in medium. We want to prove this. See here. Force between the two charges Q1 and Q2. Of course, these charges are point charges and they are at rest. Stationary charges placed in free space or vacuum or air, you can say. ऍट डिस्टन्स आर म्हणजे त्या चार्जेस मधलं सेपरेशन आर असताना, म्हणजेच कुलम्स लॉ आपल्याला व्हॅक्यूम किंवा फ्री स्पेस साठी लिहायचं आहे. वी कॅन राईट द फोर्स इन एअर किंवा इथं व्हॅक्यूम पण म्हटलं असं चाललं असतं आपल्याला, इज इक्वल टू 1/4πε0 इंटू Q1 Q2 अपॉन आर स्क्वेअर. आता सेम चार्जेस सेम डिस्टन्स पण मीडियम आता गिव्हन मीडियम घेणार आहे अदर दॅन vacuum, free space or air. See here, force between the two charges Q1 and Q2 placed in a medium at a distance r. म्हणजे आता या ठिकाणी आपण एनी अदर मीडियम घेतलं, पुन्हा व्यतिरिक्त फ्री स्पेस, व्हॅक्यूम किंवा एअर व्यतिरिक्त मीडियम घेतलं, चार्जेस सेम आहे, त्यांच्यामधलं सेपरेशन सेम आहे, बट मीडियम इज डिफरंट. त्यामुळे इथं परमिटिव्हिटी फ्री स्पेस, एअर, व्हॅक्यूम साठी एप्सिलॉन 0 घेतले आपण, पण एनी अदर मीडियम साठी आपण ऍब्सोल्यूट परमिटिव्हिटी घेणार आहे, ते म्हणजे एप्सिलॉन घेणार आहे. त्यामुळे ह्या इक्वेशनचा फॉर्म बदलताना दिस इज द फोर्स व्हेन चार्जेस आर इन एअर. आता आपल्याला फोर्स व्हेन चार्जेस आर इन अ गिव्हन मीडियम, दॅट्स वाय फोर्स व्हेन चार्जेस आर प्लेस्ड इन अ गिव्हन मीडियम इक्वल टू 1/4πε into Q1 Q2 upon R square. Equation 2 we are getting. Now we are dividing equation 1 by equation 2. See here. डिवायडिंग इक्वेशन 1 बाय इक्वेशन 2. आपल्याला मॅथमॅटिकल स्टेप कशी मिळेल पहा. ह्या इक्वेशन 1 मध्ये फोर्स when charges are kept in air free space vacuum कोणताही वर्ड इथे लिहू शकता. या एअर ऐवजी व्हॅक्यूम देखील आपण लिहू शकता. सी हिअर. Force in air divided by force in medium. We are taking the same values from equation 1 and from equation 2. आता सिमिलर क्वांटिटीज कॅन्सल झाल्यानंतर आपल्याला मिळतं इथं एप्सिलॉन अपॉन एप्सिलॉन 0. But already we know that this ratio is nothing but dielectric constant or relative permittivity. See here. But K equal to epsilon r equal to epsilon upon epsilon 0. So instead of this ratio, we can write here K or epsilon r. Therefore, dielectric constant or relative permittivity is equal to a ratio of force between the charges kept in air divided by force between the charges kept in medium. So in this way, we can prove this mathematical relation. Now, as we have studied the scalar form of Coulomb's law, आपल्याला Coulomb's law चा स्केलर फॉर्म माहित झाला. आपण Coulomb's law चा वेक्टर फॉर्म माहिती करून घेण्यापूर्वी आपण युनिट कुलम किंवा युनिट चार्ज किंवा 1 कुलम म्हणजे काय त्याची डेफिनेशन आपण कशी समजावून घ्यायची हे बघूया. कारण चार्जचं याचा युनिट आपण कुलम म्हणतो. मग कुलमची डेफिनेशन ऑफ 1 कुलम पहिल्यांदा आपण समजावून घेऊया फ्रॉम द कुलम्स लॉ. सी हियर. डेफिनेशन ऑफ युनिट चार्ज और 1 कुलम फ्रॉम द कुलम्स लॉ. We will consider here Coulomb's law and SI system of unit. See here, according to Coulomb's law, in SI system, force between two charges Q1 and Q2 separated by distance r in vacuum. म्हणजे हे दोन्हीही चार्जेस आपण व्हॅक्यूम मध्ये ठेवला असताना त्यांच्यामधला फोर्स आणि SI सिस्टीम ऑफ युनिट यूज केल्यानंतरचा फोर्सचा फॉर्म्युला आपण असा लिहू शकता. सी हियर. F equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon 0 Q1 Q2 upon R square. So instead of the value of this K, we can write here 9 into 10 raised to 9 Q1 Q2 upon R square. Okay. Here we are considering the values of Q1 and Q2 equal to 1 coulomb and the separation between the two charges is equal to 1 meter. See here. If Q1 and Q2 equal to 1 coulomb and R equal to 1 meter. म्हणजे इथं हे जे दोन चार्जेस तुम्ही यूज करताय हे दोन चार्जेस प्रत्येकी 1 कुलमचे असतील तर आणि त्याचबरोबर त्यांच्यामधलं जे सेपरेशन आहे ते सेपरेशन 1 मीटर असेल तर या फॉर्म्युलाचा फॉर्म आपण कशा पद्धतीने लिहू शकता पहा. If Q1 equal to 1 coulomb, Q2 equal to 1 coulomb, R equal to 1 meter, then the force between the two charges, या दोन चार्जेस मधला force between the two charges, आपण या पद्धतीने लिहू शकतो. See here. Then F equal to 9 into 10 raised to 9 Newton. म्हणजे त्या दोन चार्जेस मधला फोर्स आपल्याला किती मिळतो? 9 into 10 raised to 9 Newton. कधी? जर त्या दोन्ही चार्जेसची मॅग्निट्यूड प्रत्येकी 1 कुलम असेल आणि त्यांच्यामधलं सेपरेशन 1 मीटर असेल आणि त्याच वेळी दोन्हीही चार्जेस आपण एअर फ्री स्पेस किंवा व्हॅक्यूम मध्ये ठेवत असेल तर. इफ द चार्जेस each of magnitude 1 coulomb kept in air free space or vacuum at a distance of 1 meter, then each charge will experience force of 9 into 10 raised to 9 Newton. Then charge magnitude of charge is said to be 1 coulomb. So according to from this relation we can define unit charge or 1 coulomb like this. So definition of unit charge or definition of 1 coulomb. See here. 1 coulomb is defined as that amount of charge 1 coulomb is defined as that amount of charge which when placed in vacuum or air at a distance of 1 meter from another charge of same magnitude experience a force of 9 into 10 raised to 9 न्यूटन. आता इथं जी डेफिनेशन आपण घेतलेली आहे 1 कुलमची, त्या डेफिनेशनचा मॅथमॅटिकल मिनिंग इथं आहे. आणि या मॅथमॅटिकल मिनिंग पुन्हा एकदा आपण समजावून घेऊया. 1 कुलम इथं जो घेतलाय आपण चार्ज, प्रत्येकी Q1 आणि Q2 ची व्हॅल्यू 1 कुलम घेतलेली आहे. सो 1 कुलम is that amount of charge when that charges are placed in vacuum, free space or air at a distance. What distance? At a distance of 1 meter from another charge of same magnitude. म्हणजे Q1 चार्ज 1 कुलमचा असेल, Q1 वरचा चार्ज आपल्याला 1 कुलम चार्ज असं म्हणायचं असेल, तर Q1 चार्ज पासून 1 मीटर डिस्टन्सवर अनादर चार्ज Q2 ठेवा, ज्याच्यावर देखील 1 कुलमचा चार्ज असेल. त्यावेळी हा Q1 चार्ज किती फोर्स एक्सपिरियन्स करेल? 9 into 10 raised to 9 कुलम. त्यावेळी Q1 वरच्या चार्जला किंवा Q2 वरच्या चार्जला 1 कुलम चार्ज किंवा युनिट चार्ज असं तुम्ही म्हणू शकता. त्यामुळे ह्या मॅथमॅटिकल स्टेटमेंटचं मिनिंग पुन्हा एकदा इथंच आपण रीडिंग करून घेऊया. 1 coulomb is defined as that amount of charge which when placed in vacuum or air at a distance of 1 meter from another charge of same magnitude experiences force of 9 into 10 raised to 9 Newton. So this is definition of 1 coulomb. Now here we will go through few basic terms that we must remember time to time and which will give us the different units of charge. SI unit of charge, CGS unit of charge, charge on 1 electron, 1 coulomb charge consists how many electrons, that will get here. See here, charge on 1 electron आपल्याला माहिती आहे मिनिमम क्वांटिटी ऑफ चार्ज किंवा स्मॉलेस्ट क्वांटिटी ऑफ चार्ज किंवा इलेक्ट्रिसिटी is the electronic charge, and that electronic charge is present on proton and on electron. That's why charge on electron, एका इलेक्ट्रॉन वरचा चार्ज आपण घेता 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19 कुलम, आणि या चार्जलाच इलेक्ट्रॉनिक किंवा फंडामेंटल चार्ज म्हणतो. आता जर आपल्याकडे 1 कुलम चार्ज असेल तर त्या 1 कुलम चार्ज मध्ये किती इलेक्ट्रॉन्स असतात ते आपण इथं समजावून घेऊया. चार्ज ऑफ 1 कुलम कंटेन्स 6.24 into 10 raised to 18 इलेक्ट्रॉन्स. म्हणजे 1 कुलम चार्ज मध्ये इतके नंबर असतात इलेक्ट्रॉनचे. नाव द युनिट्स ऑफ चार्ज SI and CGS. See here. SI unit of charge, we already know it, coulomb. But in CGS system, this charge has 2 CGS units. See here. In CGS system, there are 2 units of charge. पहिला CGS unit कोणता आहे पाहायचा? Electrostatic unit of charge, ESU, short form आहे त्याचा. And that electrostatic unit of charge is also called as a stat coulomb. See here, it is also called as stat coulomb आणि सिम्बॉल त्याचा आहे स्टॅट सी. मग स्टॅट कुलम म्हणजेच इलेक्ट्रोस्टॅटिक युनिट आणि कुलम ह्या दोन युनिट मध्ये नेमकं रिलेशन काय आहे ते आपण शोधून काढूया. म्हणजे रिलेशन बिटवीन SI युनिट अँड CGS युनिट ऑफ चार्ज. सी हियर, 1 कुलम इक्वल टू 3 into 10 raised to 9 stat coulomb. So this is the relation between SI unit and CGS unit of charge. Here we can also write electrostatic unit, that means ESU. Now the second unit, CGS unit of charge, is electromagnetic unit of charge. दिस इज द CGS युनिट, सेकंड CGS युनिट ऑफ चार्ज. शॉर्ट फॉर्म मध्ये आपण लिहू शकता EMU, इलेक्ट्रोमॅग्नेटिक युनिट. आता पुन्हा एकदा इलेक्ट्रोमॅग्नेटिक युनिट CGS आणि कुलम SI ह्या दोघांच्या मधलं रिलेशन दाखवणारा फॉर्म्युला. 1 coulomb equal to 1 upon 10 electromagnetic unit of charge. So these are the few terms that we must remember time to time. So up to this we have expressed the scalar form of Coulomb's law. म्हणजे कुलम्स लॉच्या मदतीनं जो आपल्याला फोर्स ऑफ अट्रॅक्शन किंवा रिपल्शन टू पॉइंट इलेक्ट्रिक चार्जेस मधला मिळतोय त्याची मॅग्निट्यूड आपल्याला माहित झाली. आणि कुलम्स लॉच्या स्टेटमेंट वरून आपल्याला असं लक्षात आलं, हा जो फोर्स आहे इंटरॅक्शन बिटवीन द पॉइंट चार्जेस ऍट रेस्ट मधला, तो सेंट्रल फोर्स आहे. मीन्स दॅट फोर्स इज ऍक्टिंग अलॉंग द लाईन जॉइनिंग द 2 पॉइंट चार्जेस. So we want to find direction of that force now. That's why here we will study vector form of Coulomb's law or Coulomb's law in vector form, which will give us the direction of force of attraction and direction of force of repulsion. So to find that direction or to express Coulomb's law in vector form, we consider once again two similar point electric charges, Q1 and Q2 at rest. That charges are at rest. Out of that, Q1 charge is placed at point A and Q2 charge is placed at point B in a medium of dielectric constant K. आता ऑलरेडी आपण डायलेक्ट्रिक कॉन्स्टंट किंवा रिलेटिव्ह परमिटिव्हिटीचा कन्सेप्ट शिकून आलेलो आहोत. तर चार्जेस हे जे दोन चार्जेस आहेत, पॉइंट इलेक्ट्रिक चार्जेस आहेत, त्याच्या सराउंडिंगचं मीडियम इथं मेन्शन झालेलं नाही, पण मीडियमचा डायलेक्ट्रिक कॉन्स्टंट मेन्शन झालेला आहे. त्यावरून आपण मीडियम ओळखू शकतो. So the diagram explaining this statement we can refer like this. See here, coordinate system here, origin, point A, point B, their position vector R1 bar, R2 bar, and at point A, Q1 charge is placed. At point B, Q2 charge is placed. And both the charges are like charges, similar charges, positive charges are there. And we know that between like charges there is a force of repulsion, and that this one F1 2 bar is giving force acting on charge Q1 due to Q2, and this F2 1 bar gives force acting on charge Q2 due to Q1. The nature of force will be repulsive because both the charges are similar, like charges, positive charges. So here R12, what is that R12? R12 is the separation between the 2 point charges. See here, distance of separation between the 2 point charges. म्हणजे हे दोन पॉइंट चार्जेस R12 इतक्या डिस्टन्सनं सेपरेट झालेले आहेत. आता आपण काय करूया, फोर्सच्या व्हॅल्यूज करूया. पहिल्यांदा फोर्स ऍक्टिंग ऑन चार्ज Q2 फाइंड करूया, नंतर फोर्स ऍक्टिंग ऑन चार्ज Q1 फाइंड आउट करूया. सी हियर, द फोर्स एक्झर्टेड ऑन चार्ज Q2 बाय चार्ज Q1 इज गिव्हन बाय, या डायग्राम मध्ये तो फोर्स तुम्हाला इथे मिळतोय बा, F21 bar. This is the force exerted on charge Q2 by charge Q1, and it is denoted by the symbol F21 bar. And this force in magnitude and direction can be written like this. See here, F21 bar, force exerted on charge Q2 by charge Q1 is equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon 0 k into Q1 Q2 upon R12 square. Here R12 is the separation between the two charges into R12 cap. आता इथं हे जे युनिट वेक्टर आहे, हे युनिट वेक्टर या फोर्सची डायरेक्शन रिप्रेझेंट करण्यासाठी आहे, आणि ह्या युनिट वेक्टरची डायरेक्शन या फोर्सची डायरेक्शन असते. where r12 cap is unit vector in the direction of force. मग या फोर्सची डायरेक्शन डायग्राम मध्ये काय दिसते? फ्रॉम पॉइंट ए टू बी. त्यामुळे ह्या युनिट वेक्टरची डायरेक्शन देखील सेमच असणार. सी हिअर वेअर r12 cap unit vector directed from A to B and this unit vector is giving the direction of this force. Are you getting this? म्हणजे Q2 चार्ज वर जो फोर्स एक्झर्ट झालेला आहे तो फोर्स अवे दिसतो तुम्हाला इकडे F12 बार. याच पद्धतीनं आपण Q1 चार्ज वर एक्झर्ट झालेला फोर्स फाइंड आउट करूया. सी हिअर force exerted on charge Q1 by charge Q2 is given by. म्हणजे Q1 चार्ज वर फोर्स एक्झर्ट होणार आहे बाय चार्ज Q2 आणि तो फोर्स असा लिहिला जाईल सिम्बॉल मध्ये F12 बार. दिस सिम्बॉल व्हॉट रिप्रेझेंट फोर्स exerted on charge Q1 by charge Q2 and that force in magnitude and direction we can write by using Coulomb's law. See here F12 bar equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon 0. इथं epsilon 0 k का आलंय लक्षात घ्या. ऍक्च्युली इथं आपण epsilon 0 लिहायला हवं होतं किंवा सॉरी एप्सिलॉन लिहायला हवं होतं मीडियम माहित नसल्यामुळं. पण डायलेक्ट्रिक कॉन्स्टंटच्या कन्सेप्ट नुसार एप्सिलॉन इज इक्वल टू epsilon 0 k आपण लिहू शकतो. That's why you have written here epsilon 0 k, epsilon 0 k. Okay. Now into Q1 upon Q2 R12 square into R21 cap. इथं युनिट वेक्टर बदलला. आता इथं जे युनिट वेक्टर आहे R21 cap is unit vector in the direction of this force and this force is directed from B to A. The direction of this force is from B to A. त्यामुळं हे जे युनिट वेक्टर आहे R21 cap is a unit vector directed from B to A. So in this way we get the force exerted on charge Q2 and force exerted on charge Q1. Now we will just try to find the directions of unit vectors here. So from equations 1 and 2, this unit vector is directed from A to B. See here, A to B. R12 cap directed from A to B. And this unit vector R21 is directed from B to A. म्हणजे ह्या युनिट वेक्टरच्या डायरेक्शन्स अपोजिट आहे. त्यामुळं comparing equations 1 and 2, we can write R12 cap is equal to minus R21 cap. कारण ही दोन्ही युनिट वेक्टर्स अपोजिटली डायरेक्टेड आहेत आणि दोघांच्या मॅग्निट्यूड युनिटच असणार. सो कंपेअरिंग इक्वेशन्स 1 and 2. आता इक्वेशन्स 1 and 2 जर आपण कंपेअर केलं तर तिथं मिळणारे जे फोर्सेस आहेत ते फोर्सेस देखील अपोजिटली डायरेक्टेड असणार आहेत. दोन्ही फोर्सेसच्या मॅग्निट्यूड सेम दिसतात आपल्याला पण डायरेक्शन्स ह्या युनिट वेक्टर्सनी ठरवलेले आहेत. सो कंपेअरिंग इक्वेशन्स 1 and 2 we get force exerted on charge Q2 and force exerted on charge Q1 are oppositely directed. This equation explains us. Already दोन्हीही चार्जेसने एक्सपिरियन्स केलेल्या फोर्सेसची मॅग्निट्यूड इक्वलच आहे. क्वेश्चन त्यांच्या डायरेक्शनचा होता. मग युनिट वेक्टर्स म्हणून आपल्याला डायरेक्शन काय करते? The forces exerted by both the charges are oppositely directed. Thus, we can write here two charges, that means Q1 and Q2. Like charges are there, experience force of equal magnitudes but opposite in direction. म्हणजे अशा पद्धतीचे दोन लाईक चार्जेस जर एकमेकांच्यावर फोर्स एक्झर्ट करत असतील तर त्या फोर्सचं नेचर रिपल्सिव्ह असेल, अपोजिट डायरेक्शन असेल, पण त्या फोर्सचे मॅग्निट्यूड मात्र इक्वल असेल. त्यानंतर हे दोन्हीही फोर्सेस will act along a line joining the two charges. Also, these two forces forms an action reaction pair. आपल्याला माहिती आहे ऍक्शन रिएक्शन पेअर मध्ये जे दोन फोर्सेस असतात त्यांच्या मॅग्निट्यूड्स इक्वल असतात पण डायरेक्शन अपोजिट असतात. त्यामुळे इथं Q1 चार्ज वरचा फोर्स आणि Q2 चार्ज वरच्या फोर्सच्या मॅग्निट्यूड इक्वल आहेत, डायरेक्शन opposite आहेत. त्यामुळं these two forces are forming action reaction pair. Here we should remember one thing is that these forces F21 bar म्हणजे force exerted on charge Q2 and force exerted on charge Q1 are acting along the line joining the two charges. म्हणजे हे दोन्हीही फोर्सेस या दोन चार्जेसना जॉईन करणाऱ्या लाईनवर ऍक्ट होत आहेत. That's why we can say that these forces are central forces. So the electrostatic force which is given by Coulomb's law is a central force. मग central force कुणाला म्हटलं जातं? The force which is acting along a line joining the two charges. That force is called as central force. So the force given by Coulomb's law is a central force. Electrostatic force is a central force. Now, as we have studied the Coulomb's law in electrostatics, let us try to find some limitations are there for the Coulomb's law. Which that limitations are? See here, limitations of Coulomb's law. In some cases, we can apply the Coulomb's law. In some other cases, the Coulomb's law has some limitations. Where we can apply the Coulomb's law? See here. It is applicable. Coulomb's law is applicable for stationary point charges. Means point electric charges at rest. या चार्जेस मधला जर फोर्स आपल्याला फाइंड आउट करायचा आहे तरच आपण कुलम्स लॉ अप्लाय करू शकतो. But it is not applicable for the extended charged bodies. म्हणजे चार्ज्ड बॉडीची साईज जर व्हेरी लार्ज असेल तर त्या चार्ज्ड बॉडीज मधला फोर्स फाइंड आउट करण्यासाठी आपण कुलम्स लॉ अप्लाय करू शकत नाही. कुलम्स लॉ इज ऍप्लिकेबल ओनली फॉर point electric charges which are at rest. Second point यातला, it can be applied. Coulomb's law can be applied for charged extended objects. Charged extended objects मधला force find out करण्यासाठी Coulomb's law आपण apply करू शकतो, provided under condition आहे पाहिजे. Provided that distance between them म्हणजे चार्ज्ड एक्सटेंडेड ऑब्जेक्ट्स मधलं जे डिस्टन्स आहे that distance is sufficiently large compared to the size of the objects. म्हणजे जे दोन चार्ज्ड एक्सटेंडेड ऑब्जेक्ट्स आहेत त्यांच्यामधलं डिस्टन्स आणि त्या एक्सटेंडेड ऑब्जेक्टची साईज जर कम्पेअर केला तर हे डिस्टन्स हे सफिशियंटली लार्ज असेल तरच ह्या चार्ज्ड एक्सटेंडेड ऑब्जेक्ट्स मधला फोर्स फाइंड आउट करण्यासाठी आपण कुलम्स लॉ अप्लाय करू शकतो अंडर धिस कंडिशन. द डिस्टन्स बिटवीन देम शुड बी सफिशियंटली लार्ज as compared to the size of the object. So in this way we have discussed Coulomb's law in electrostatics, scalar form of Coulomb's law and vector form of Coulomb's law. So finally here we will compare two forces. See here, comparison of gravitational forces and electrostatic forces. We have studied regarding the gravitational forces in the topic 5th and electrostatic forces in the topic 10th. So there is a topic gravitation which gives us gravitational force between the two objects, which is given by Newton's law of gravitation. And this electrostatic force between the two point electric charges at rest given by Coulomb's law. Sir Augustine D. Coulomb gives you electrostatic force and Sir Isaac Newton gives us gravitational force. And we will compare here the forces, gravitational forces and electrostatic forces. The similarity between these two forces we will find out and the difference between the two forces we will find out. So first of all we will consider electrostatic force between the two point electric charges. See here, electrostatic force between the two point electric charges Q1 and Q2 separated by distance r And this electrostatic force is given by Sir Augustine D. Coulomb. कुलमच्या लॉ नुसार हा फोर्स आपण असा लिहिता 1/4πε0 याचा अर्थ असा medium surrounding these two charges is free space, vacuum or air. That's why the permittivity epsilon 0 we have used. So the electrostatic force between these two point electric charges at rest separated by distance r is given by this formula. And the value of this constant, we can take 9 into 10 raised to 9 q1 into q2 upon r square. So this is Coulomb's law, which gives the electrostatic force. Now we will find gravitational force between the two material bodies. See here, gravitational force between the two masses m1 and m2 separated by distance r. And this gravitational force is given by Sir Isaac Newton's gravitational law. And its mathematical formula is like this: F equal to g into bracket m1 m2 upon r square. And the value of this gravitational constant, या ठिकाणी जो constant of proportionality आलाय, ह्या constant of proportionality ला आपण नाव दिलंय युनिव्हर्सल ग्रॅव्हिटेशनल कॉन्स्टंट. आणि त्याची व्हॅल्यू लॅबोरेटरी मध्ये मेजर झाली 6.673 into 10 raised to minus 11 m1 m2 upon r square. आता हे जे दोन फॉर्म्युलेज आहेत हे दोन लॉज कडून मिळालेले आहेत. इक्वेशन 1 gives electrostatic force between these two charges. Equation 2 gives gravitational force between these two masses. And we want to compare these two forces. First of all, we will compare the similarities between these two forces. What are the similarities between these two forces? आता इक्वेशन 1 मध्ये पहा, हा जो इलेक्ट्रोस्टॅटिक फोर्स आहे आणि त्यांच्या मधल्या डिस्टन्सचा स्क्वेअर आहे. द फोर्स अँड द स्क्वेअर ऑफ डिस्टन्स बिटवीन द टू चार्जेस कसे रिलेटेड आहेत पहा, इनव्हर्सली प्रोपोर्शनल. तसंच हा जो ग्रॅव्हिटेशनल फोर्स आहे आणि सेपरेशन बिटवीन द टू मासेस यांचा जो स्क्वेअर आहे तो देखील कसा रिलेटेड आहे पहा, इनव्हर्सली प्रोपोर्शनल. सो इन बोथ द इक्वेशन्स the force is inversely proportional to square of distance. So this is one similarity between these two forces. So we can write here, both the forces obey inverse square law. Inverse square law म्हणजे force is inversely proportional to square of distance. See here, F inversely proportional to square of distance. आता second similarity कोणती आहे, हा ग्रॅव्हिटेशनल फोर्स हा सेंट्रल फोर्स आहे आणि आपण जस्ट स्टडी केलं इलेक्ट्रोस्टॅटिक फोर्स इज ऑल्सो सेंट्रल फोर्स. Which forces are called central forces? The forces which are acting along the line joining the two objects or joining the two charges. That's why the second similarity between these forces is both the forces are central forces and they act along the line joining the two objects or two point charges. So these are the two similarities between the forces. Now, what is the difference? What is the difference between the two forces? And we know that this gravitational force between the two masses is always attractive in nature. म्हणजे ग्रॅव्हिटेशनल फोर्स हा नेहमी अट्रॅक्टिव्हच असतो. बट इलेक्ट्रोस्टॅटिक फोर्स बिटवीन द टू पॉइंट इलेक्ट्रिक चार्जेस कॅन बी आयदर अट्रॅक्टिव्ह ऑर रिपल्सिव्ह. म्हणजे इलेक्ट्रोस्टॅटिक फोर्सचं नेचर अट्रॅक्टिव्ह असू शकतं, रिपल्सिव्ह असू शकतं. बट ग्रॅव्हिटेशनल फोर्स इज ऑलवेज अट्रॅक्टिव्ह फोर्स. सो दिस इज द फर्स्ट डिफरन्स वी फाइंड फ्रॉम द both the forces. See here, gravitational force between the two objects is always attractive force, while electrostatic force between the two charges can be either attractive or repulsive depending upon that charges. So this was the first difference. Now, second difference, we know that both the forces are real forces. And weakest force in nature is the gravitational force. म्हणजे इथं ग्रॅव्हिटेशनल फोर्स हा विकेस्ट फोर्स आहे आणि हा इलेक्ट्रोस्टॅटिक फोर्स जो आहे तो स्ट्रॉंगर फोर्स आहे दॅन ग्रॅव्हिटेशनल फोर्स. त्यामुळे स्ट्रेंथ नुसार ते दोघे डिफरंट आहेत. ते आपण सेकंड पॉइंट मध्ये इथं समजावून घेऊ. ग्रॅव्हिटेशनल फोर्स इज अबाउट 36 orders of magnitude weaker than electrostatic force. थोडक्यात gravitational force is weaker than electrostatic force. This is the actual order of weakness. Order of magnitude. किती order of magnitude ना gravitational force weaker आहे than electrostatic force. That is written here. 36 orders of magnitude. Weaker आहे gravitational force than electrostatic force. So in this way, for this lecture, we have discussed Coulomb's law in electrostatics. First time, we find the scalar form of Coulomb's law, which gives us the magnitude of force between the 2-point electric charges. And at the end, we find Coulomb's law in vector form, which gives us magnitude and direction of the force between the 2-point electric charges at rest. So with this, we are ending this lecture.